deserved a little easy. The instructions were simple. Weirdly simple, but still. Go to the 2nd Avenue subway stop at 72nd Street at 3 a.m. Head to the front of the platform, the north end. Wait until everyone gets on a train. When there's no one in sight, walk down the stairs and into the tunnel. Keep going for a quarter mile.
There aren't a ton of trains at that time of night, but walk fast anyway, the guy said. You never know. When you come to the 3rd door on your right, make sure it's the 3rd one. Open it and walk down another long set of stairs. Then wait. Someone will meet you.
It seemed pretty bizarre, but in the last 5 years, Johnny had done stranger. Had seen things his father wouldn't have believed. Gods flying through the air. At least they called them gods. Robots walking through walls. A guy made out of orange rocks. And that was when Johnny wasn't drinking. He entered the station, went through the turnstile. He'd heard stories about the subway tracks, about homeless people who lived underground. Sometimes 9-to-5ers caught glimpses of them on their way to work or home or wherever the hell 9-to-5ers went. He'd never seen any of those tunnel dwellers himself, but he'd heard the rumors. Had heard that some of them could get crazy, could get violent. That some of them were even mutants. So he brought his favorite knife with him when he headed towards 2nd Avenue at 2:45 a.m. on a Sunday night, or Monday morning, or whatever the hell it was. He couldn't afford a gun, but he figured the knife would do just fine. It always had. Johnny knew how to handle a knife, especially this one. It was the only thing he'd stolen from his father when he'd left home all those years ago. Even so, as Johnny hit the bottom of the stairs and waited for the train to arrive and pick up the few people scattered across the platform, he was nervous. He'd forgotten his flask on the small table by the door of his run-down, dingy apartment. There wasn't much left in it, admittedly, but even just a swig right now would have calmed his rattled nerves. He didn't like this job already. He didn't even know who he was working for or what the job was. But he needed the scratch. Bad. He was late on rent. Very late. And he hadn't had a decent meal in a couple of days. This gig could change everything. Finally, the damn train came screeching into the station. The conductor a dark shadow behind smudged glass. The people got on board and, after the train sat there for what seemed like forever, the doors let out their telltale 2-note ring and then closed. The train didn't move.
Come on,
Johnny said out loud. As if in response, the train lurched forward, then picked up speed and headed down the tunnel into the growing shadows until it was gone, its echo reverberating and then fading away entirely. The subway station was silent. Johnny looked around. During the entire 5 years he'd been in the city, he had never been totally alone like this on a train platform. Lights flickered on and off, silently overhead. Rats emerged and scurried along the tracks, hunting for discarded food. Taking a deep breath, Johnny stepped over the small chain that ostensibly kept people from entering the tracks and walked down the several metal stairs that led into the subway tunnel itself. A cool breeze wafted toward him from the darkness, carrying a smell of garbage and urine that almost made him gag. Suppressing the urge, he trudged forward. After a few minutes, Johnny stopped and looked back. The subway station wasn't that far away, but its lights already looked dim, as if he was looking at them through gauze. He realized that his eyes were watering from a combination of the smell and fear, and he cursed himself. Then he turned back around and continued walking. He passed one graffiti-covered door, and then a second a minute or so later. He glanced back again. He could barely see the subway station at all anymore. He fought the urge to bolt, go home and figure out another way to make some money. And that